Hello and welcome back everyone. In our last video we discussed the language and structure of new media or online journalism. Then we looked at some examples of new media posts with user-generated content on Twitter. In this presentation we'll discuss the types of stories we find online in new media journalism. As we discussed in the last video, there are many types of online media, including news websites, blogs, social media platforms, podcasts, and online video sites. Like print and broadcast media, online media run news stories, human interest stories, commentary and analysis, consumer reviews, and feel-good stories. In this video, we'll discuss other types of stories we find online. These stories are breaking news stories, threaded discussions, data visualization stories, user-generated visuals. The Internet makes new media more flexible than traditional print and broadcast media. For one thing, online media outlets can publish breaking news stories much faster. Online news outlets focus on posting breaking news on the Internet as quickly as possible, sometimes within minutes of the event, and update the story in real time. Unlike print and broadcast media, digital media outlets don't wait for more facts and details before running a story. In fact, many online news outlets do not use traditional editors to check their stories. They post short articles within minutes of an event and then post continuous updates in the 24-hour news cycle. These breaking news stories are sometimes called developing stories. They start with vague, general information that develops into a clearer story with each new update. The most recent updates are posted at the top of the story with a time stamp. Let's take our example of the teachers protesting from Module 3. Online media report on the protest in real time, at the same time the protest is happening. Eyewitnesses upload photos and video to social media, and online journalists publish breaking news stories about the protests within minutes. The journalists then publish more detailed minute-by-minute updates to the breaking news story as it develops. Another type of online media content is the threaded discussion. Threaded discussions, also called comment sections or discussion forums, start a thread with a question, a news article, or a commentary article. Users follow the thread of the discussion to learn more about the topic and post their own comments, questions, and answers. Many online news outlets include a threaded discussion in the comments section after their stories. Some online outlets, including major newspapers like the New York Times, even include reader comments in the body of their stories. Threaded discussions below stories are excellent sources for journalists to learn about what is interesting to their audience. The audience comments help journalists decide what is or is not important to include in future articles. Again, let's use the teachers protesting as an example. An online journalist posts a breaking news story about the protest. Below the story, readers post comments and questions. "How much are the teachers' salaries?" one reader asks. "About $2,000 a month," another replies. "I'm a teacher," a third reader comments. "My school keeps cutting our budget. I have to spend $200 a month of my salary on school supplies for my students." "Well, the government raised my taxes this year to pay for these schools," another reader comments. "And I don't even have children." After reading the threaded discussion, the online journalist posts a story update with information about teacher salaries, school budget cuts, and taxes for education. She knows this information is important for the audience, and she includes 2 selected comments in the body of the story. Another benefit of threaded discussions is that the journalist can correct any false information she sees in the comments. She is careful to check her information with multiple sources, including the school, the teachers, and the tax office, before publishing the update. Indeed, digital technology has generated more information than ever before. However, this big data is often very difficult to understand. To report this information clearly, online journalists use technology to create interactive, multimedia data visualization stories. Journalists link video, maps, charts, and graphs to explain complex data using visuals and text. Users can interact with the story, move through the data, and see it in many different ways. In our example about the teacher protests, an online journalist collects data about the story as it develops. She combines data sets about teacher salaries, taxes, school budgets, and other important information, such as students' test scores. She writes a story with interactive graphs. Users can move on the graphs to see how taxes, test scores, and teachers' salaries are connected. For example, if teachers' salaries rise, test scores go up as well. The story also includes virtual tours of a school classroom, showing what kind of supplies the teachers need to buy and how much they cost. This new media data visualization story helps users understand the complicated teacher protest story. Breaking news stories, discussions, and data visualization stories already existed in print and broadcast media, but new media have made them much more interactive and engaging. In addition, social media platforms have introduced completely new forms of user-generated visual content. These formats include memes, GIFs, and ephemeral media, such as snaps and Facebook stories. Ephemeral media are posts that disappear after a short time, usually only 24 hours. These media are sometimes used by professional journalists, but mostly by social media users on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and WeChat. Social media users create memes, GIFs, and snaps and post them on their profiles to share them with their networks. Other users receive them on their news feeds and share them with other users. These pieces of content can go viral, meaning they're shared by many people very quickly. This user-generated content tells stories using strong images, very few words, and humor. To use an example from the teacher protest story, a social media user posts a popular meme of a teacher in front of a board that reads, "Doesn't work all summer, wants pay raise." Other users see the meme and start a threaded discussion about the meme. Many media experts argue that these type of posts are not journalism. However, a large and growing audience get their news and information from social networks in the form of memes, GIFs, and snaps. They have become important as a media form. We will talk about some of the problems this can create in a later video. To sum up, in this video we have talked about 4 kinds of stories that are very common in new media: breaking news stories, threaded discussions, data visualization stories, and user-generated visuals like memes, GIFs, and ephemeral media. We discussed examples of how each of these types of stories could be used to report on the teacher protest example online. In our next activity, we will write our own new media posts about a local story, and comment on our classmates' posts and threaded discussions. Thank you for watching.